were wondering if you could give us a little real life example right here with us about the work that you do with couples and how you engage with them, because we're a couple. We host this show, but we are a couple right here.
Just in case listeners didn't know.
Yeah.
I was just flirting.
Yeah. But would you kind of explore some of your work and how you talk to people? So in case our listener doesn't have access to you or someone who does the work that you do, they could start to understand what that could look like with their partner.
What would be helpful for me is to know maybe something that has come up or something that I can help you with. I often say sort of what's on the buffet table of the relationship, what's out here that feels like maybe I can help facilitate or create a conversation around.
Yeah. So let's give a very specific example. I have to go to a meeting. He's come over to watch the kids, and great, fantastic. He's going to be with the kids, but there's still an element of like, they're probably going to have a lot more screen time than I would normally do. I came home the other day after the meeting. It was 9:00. I fully expected one of the kids to be in bed and asleep, and they were not. They were up and they were running around, and I come in fully like tired from this meeting and ready to like bond a little bit with him, and it's like the kids are still up, and I'm like, okay. And now I feel like I feel like I turn into, I'm parenting you a little bit in that moment where I wish this had been done. And I don't really blame you, but it just, okay, now I have to still mom, and it's late.
Right. Okay. I'm just taking some notes as I hear it. So I'm just listening for the different parts that might be coming up.
Okay.
So let me ask you both. This moment when you came home, let's say the instance that you just gave, would this be, could I pick that one apart, that moment? Would that be okay?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So walk me through what happened. You came home, it was late at night, you were tired, and it sounded like maybe there was a part of you that had an expectation of what you would find, maybe?
Yes.
Okay. So walking in the door, feeling really tired, but maybe an expectation of what happened. When you walked in the door, suddenly there was a whole different scenario, right? So what ended up happening for you in that moment when you walked in the door and you saw what was happening?
I was upset and annoyed because I wanted to have some downtime after like an emotional meeting. And I had to then put my responsibility hat back on. So I felt like I wasn't thought of, that he hadn't thought about what I would need when I would get home.
Got it. Yeah. Wasn't maybe considered in that moment. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you walked in the door and you saw all this happen, you were feeling upset and things had to be managed. You didn't feel considered. What did you say or do to Caesar in that moment?
I know I did not connect with him.
Okay.
I probably rolled my eyes on some level and sighed a big sigh. I went, okay, let me take over here. Okay, let me get you in bed. Let's get your teeth brushed, or I think their teeth were brushed. Let me get you in bed. All right. And I kind of I feel like I probably discarded you a bit in that moment and just focused in on my kid.
Got it.
Okay, mom hat back on. Great.
Do that. Okay. And I'm curious, what did you say to yourself about yourself or about Caesar or about the relationship internally, not necessarily outside?
Probably said to myself, he gets away too easy with this.
Got it. Good.
This must be easy for him. He just had to have the TV on and be here. He didn't have to do the responsible part.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, good noticing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
Well, hold
Your
tight.
feelings are okay.
Yes.
They're your feelings.
Good.
I'm not going to hold those against you.
Thank you. And I appreciate, and this is part of the process because actually you're beautifully allowing him to see what's happening inside for you. And even when I asked the question, what happened inside, he may not have known.
Yeah.
Those were the thoughts. And whatever evaluation happens right now, we'll work with it. It's really important that he sees what your internal monologue is. So that he can't be in relationship with things he doesn't know.
Right.
And if he doesn't know that's your experience, then we can't fix it. I'll put that in air quotes. Make sense? Okay. All right. So walk in the door with expectations. Suddenly it's not, feeling annoyed, feel like you're not being considered, starting to feel like, gosh, he has it really easy. All he had to do is hang out with the kids. And then you rolled your eyes, you sighed, you sort of disconnected from him. Perfect. I'm going to pop over to Caesar. So are you remembering this moment she's talking
yeah,
about?
yeah.
Okay, good. And what happened when you saw, I'm imagining you felt it or saw, what happened when she rolled her eyes or disconnected? Did you see that moment?
I knew that before you even got there, I knew you would feel something along those lines. I don't know where to begin, actually, but you want the specifics of what happened from then forward? Because I already was loaded with information from how it had been earlier that evening when we were all together. And I mean this as dear heart as possible, how it habitually is. It quite often is this particular way.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So remember one of my top 5 of the with the couples, context of it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Most importantly, what happened to you when
Okay,
you
thank you.
felt that impact from her?
Thank you. Thank you for
You're
putting me back
welcome.
on track. Okay. Yes. She walked in the door. I mentally prepared myself for this sort
So
of
you were like bracing yourself.
ready for this sort of response. I mean, I can talk about what I feel, but can I talk about what happened and therefore what my feelings were? Or just feelings?
That's not necessarily just feelings. It sounded like something happened before she walked in the door. Is that right?
Correct.
And that feels important to you because, just curious.
Because how she was when she walked in the door was what had already happened before she left.
Oh, so it sounds like the way you experienced her in the door was the same energy that you had felt earlier.
Correct.
So it feels like maybe you were bracing yourself, and it's important to understand you did these things maybe because the energy was going to be the same, or you anticipated it would be. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. No, but not quite. Though.
Not quite, because it's more than that. It's also just what the kid was doing, and some of it wasn't involving me. There's a better way to say this. Very often, my love, if something isn't exactly the way you're requesting it, you respond that way in a physical demeanor. So it was, again, I know no context, but it's easy to put a pattern together.
Yeah.
So when you did walk in, I expected that. And I saw your body language. Our kid came running in to say hi, and you were very tense. Your body language, your jaw was a little clenched, and then you questioned me as well. You said, "They're still up?" The answer is yes, yeah. And that made me feel like that my choices are not valid. That for me, it feels like there's only, what I'm taking from you is that there's only one way to do something. And I don't fundamentally think that. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So what was the emotion for you in that moment, if you can clock it?
First emotion that shows up for me is a bit of fear. There's a feeling that, and she's never done this, but there's a feeling that she will snap at me, yell. She will critique what I'm doing, talk down to me, belittle my choices, my ideas, my reasoning. Not even ask my reasoning, actually. Just be upset and make me feel bad about it. So that is my feeling at first. Right. It's a level of fear.
Right.
And then I have an intellectual response to that and realize, well, that's not necessarily all the way it, but it still informs my actions because, I mean, shit, what doesn't, right?
Sure. And when you feel this fear with this, the meaning inside of it for you is, it sounds like she could criticize you. There could be an adverse reaction from her in some way, which, by the way, feels like your choices aren't valid. Some of the meaning that comes out of that moment. What do you say or do when you feel that, or when that happened for you?
To her or to my own
What did
feelings?
you say or do to her? What did you say or do in that moment when you felt all of that? If you can clock it.
To her, for the most part, it is being as gentle and docile as possible. Hey, babe, how was it? When you asked, are they slept? I said, yeah. They brushed their teeth already, though. The show finished already. I knew that they would be going to sleep quite soon anyway. So it's a matter of just being very welcoming and how was the event, and trying to meet her right where a familiar, friendlier level is.
Okay. Got it. All right. Good. Can I hold that for a second?
Absolutely.
Okay. Can we keep going?
Yeah.
What happens for you, Foster, when he greets you with that gentleness? What do you need? Yes, they brush their teeth. What happens for you then?
I appreciate that. And also, there's a part of me that feels like he's not acknowledging that the ideal would have been that they were already asleep when I got there.
Right.
It feels a little dismissive of what he knew that I wanted.
Yes. Good. So let me hold that for a second. I just saw your reaction. Did you know that she had those feelings about feeling it's dismissive?
I'm going to say yes, but I wasn't conscious.
Okay.
There's a thing between subconscious and conscious. There's like a pre-conscious that I've been feeling lately. We talked about this some years ago. Like, there's something back there. You know it, and then when you think about it later, you go, oh, I did know it.
Yeah.
But you didn't tap it. You didn't grab it.
Yes.
There's a part of me that would know you would feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me pause here for a second. Just for point of showing, this is called tracking a sequence.
Cool.
So we're talking about, I don't know, 2 minutes
Right.
of an exchange, and look at how much is inside of that 2 minute of an exchange. That these feelings of feeling upset for you, Foster, that you feel like you haven't been acknowledged. There's a lot of which if I took this down the rabbit hole, my suspicion would be we get to some part of you that doesn't feel acknowledged, doesn't feel seen, really. And for you, Caesar, this felt significant to me, and I can't know if it's right. We're all just starting that this bracing and these parts of you that have what I imagine could be a deep script of punishment, quite possibly, even though intellectually you know that's not true. There can still be some deep parts that hold that instinctively, that something bad, she's going to be upset, I don't know that that's about her, that could predate her from times past, that if I got to maybe what was tender underneath it is maybe that feeling of needing to be validated, needing to be connected with, possibly. So in tracking all of that, you begin to see how granular this really is. And eventually, if we could have worked a little longer, I might have then said, what would have happened to you? This is sort of a very powerful question. What would have happened to you, Foster? I'll ask you each the same question. If you hadn't have rolled your eyes or in some way shown him the lack of acknowledgement, what would have happened if you didn't do that to you? What would have happened to you?
If I didn't show him any of how I was feeling, I don't know if this is what you're looking for, but I would have probably just buried it deeper and kept it in, and
that's no bueno for your system.
no.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So this part of you that is trying to be, it just keeps coming back to being seen and heard. You can't bury it. And you're in a place in your development where it's really important you be able to express that.
Yeah.
That sound right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And for you, Caesar, I'm curious, if you didn't meet her with gentleness when she came at the door, what would happen to you if you didn't meet her with that gentleness?
It's hard to imagine. I'm just going to walk through my thoughts, if you could help me with it.
Sure.
Because I have to do the imagination first of not doing that. And the next question is, well, how would you?
What would happen to you if you did? What would that be like for you if you didn't?
I'm getting stuck because my next thought is, what do I do? What would I have responded with when she walked in? If I don't meet her with gentleness, I don't know another way to meet her. So I can't imagine it. So then therefore to find out what happened to my system.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
It does. And this could be my fallibility in this moment of asking the question incorrectly. So I'm appreciating what you're saying, because there's an attunement piece where I'm trying to really discover what is being protected. This behavior ultimately is somehow protective of you, of her, of the kids. I'm not sure which. So the question that I'm asking is just help reveal what's the protective nature of why you did what you did.
In the saying hello, how I said hello to her, did that. Okay, I see. This one I know from the very jump, as far back as when I was a kid. If a particular parent would show up and something wasn't done that they asked me to do, I would get yelled at and hit,
Right.
Spanked, yelled at, talked down to
Yes.
if I didn't do it.
So does it make sense to you that there is a very deep innate, I want to make sure that she knows I didn't meet with gentleness. I'm going to say this and you tell me how this lands. There's something called a fawning response.
Okay.
That is a protective measure to make sure that you don't get punished or hurt or so there is this sort of response, and I don't think that the intention is there in that way, though it's very deep when you say it goes to childhood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Means to me there's some deep narrative here about what it is to have done it wrong or to feel like she might in some way criticize what you've done. Right?
Oh yeah.
So then my question to you guys is, what if in the future when this happens, because I also heard that this is a pattern, that there is a way to even notice while you're driving home, you're giving a call and you're saying, I'm noticing those parts of mine that are so worried that this is going to be off the rails. The kids haven't. I'm just acknowledging that. And for you to be able to say, and I'm also acknowledging that there's this part of me that's worried about your reaction. I'm just really feeling it already. I felt it earlier. I wanted to acknowledge that too, so that when you walk in the door, you feel seen and heard, Foster. And when you walk in the door, you feel safe, Caesar. That I know you know this intellectually, right?
My body just doesn't care about intellect. It just starts responding. Yeah.
Yes, it is something so much deeper, a deeper practice, if you will, to really recognize those parts that are trying to essentially make sure she's okay, make sure this is okay because I'm not sure what the outcome's going to be. To say, even just noticing that. And now, you knowing Foster, he has those parts.
Yeah.
How does that impact you? Make a difference? Did you know that? Did you?
I mean, I did know that, yes. Yeah. And I didn't know that it would come up with me behaving that way. I think because if it is a fawning response or sometimes, and we talked about this on an earlier episode, there's an oversimplification of something of like, that's not a big deal.
Right.
But everything's fine. They're going to go to bed soon. There's a dismissing of it that is perhaps your protector part, trying to diffuse a situation that could be familiar and what would have been in your past, something that's violent. And then that feels like my feelings are being dismissed.
That's right.
And yeah, and what I want to walk in that door with is, even if it's not ideal, feel like I'm on the same team as you and be like, oh my God, what happened here? Can you tell me? Oh God, well, yeah, listen, we were having a good time. And it's like, that's all I need. But I walked in with immediately disconnecting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. How's this landing for you, Caesar?
Two things.
Yeah.
One, first thing first, and it happens all the time. My first thought is to try, when you were bringing up those instances, I am trying to bring up instances of my, like, wait, she just got to share something that I did. I should be sharing something that she, and then I'm like, okay, that is not helpful whatsoever. So put that down.
Okay.
And then the second part that came up for me after that was along that same line, though. It was very like, okay, however, like that sort of thing. It's a defensiveness that's showing up in there.
Yes. Good.
And I don't care for that, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't like it. But I can feel it.
There's a part of you that doesn't like it.
It doesn't like it. And then,
right, sure.
Devil, tell me more.
Right.
Frog, I'll kiss you, right?
Right.
What I don't like about it is that it slows me down to get to the better thought, the healthier thought.
Oh, I see.
That's what I don't like about it for the most part. I've just now spent, while she's saying that, I spent 80% of what she was saying being that version.
Yeah.
Instead of being the version, I can listen to her.
Yes.
And I don't like it.
Yes.
I'm talking to you now, and the voice in my head is like, but still get some in there.
Yes.
Get your points too. I'm like, wait, why?
Well, for a minute, I want to acknowledge that part that wants to get to that point. If we were doing this work ongoing, I'd be like, next session, Caesar, you and me, you're going to start. I really want to hear what's happening for you. I want that part to know it's going to be heard. And right now I feel so terrible that part is.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I mean, we can keep going if you want that part to be heard. And I also want to acknowledge, I hear the parts that don't like some of the thoughts.
Yeah.
And I feel for them too. because I see they're trying to get you to that better path, the path that you have been training yourself to get to. And sometimes that's hard. They get tired, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Just acknowledging that too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you.
Yeah. So would this be an okay place to stop for
Yeah.
now? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that.
Can you just really quick just give us? We're really out of time.
Right. And our time is up. You can pay me on the way out.
There has been no financial compensation. No, it's great. It's great.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
How is
Thank
that?
you.
Can I ask how? I don't get always
Oh my
to
God!
ask.
That's a fantastic thought. You're right.
Yeah.
You don't get this feedback. What, do they Yelp you? They can't do that.
Right.
I guess I could, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What'd you think? I'm just curious.
It's fantastic because I feel like you did slow everything down. I love the hold this part. Hold it right there. Let's move to the other side, because I also don't want to go on and on. I want his side to be heard and his parts to be heard. And holding that is really great. Yeah. And it's careful work because it's all within these tiny little moments.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not only that you slowed it down, but you unpacked something that you said was way less than 2 minutes. It's 10 seconds. Yeah.
It was,
You
yeah.
gave you literally wrote the Declaration of Independence on a grain of sand. Like, I guess not literally, but but that, when you said that to me, it reminded me how baked into a dialogue that every second is.
Yes.
How much we bring with us.
Yes.
You gave me really good mental models. Really good mental model of, remember, this is a good pattern to see things for your own self, to take that with me. Not just the rule of like calling her on the phone and saying, hey, I'm feeling this way. Yes to that. Fantastic. But there's a system, a way of thinking of something that I take with you. I take with me as well from listening to how you just did that whole session.
Yes. Noticing. That might be number 6. No, noticing. It is. It's noticing the stick, Caesar.
Yeah.
Notice the stick. And it's not with the goal to put it down. It's the goal to say, oh, it's a stick. I had no idea that stick was there. Now I have an opportunity to be in relationship with it and choose what I want to do with that.
Yeah.
And give you the autonomy and the power so that you don't feel powerless in these exchanges that happen often, because they do in couples. The Gottmans say 69% of issues are gridlocked and perpetual forever in relationships. 69% of issues. And it isn't about making those issues go away. That is the sign of successful therapy or successful coupledom. It's learning how to navigate
Yeah.
with those 69% always being there.
Yeah.
And for the record, just to name this too, humor is one of the ways we can deal with that. Humor is hugely healing inside of relationships. You asked me about
Yes.
my humor.
Yep.
And it is, to me, it's just another connective point. It is how we come together. We go to comedy shows to be in community with people, to laugh because it feels good. Why can't a therapist make people laugh and have a personality? The
Thank
birth
you.
of psychology 100 years ago was there was such a power dynamic separation. And you wouldn't even look at the therapist. You'd lie down and the therapist would sit behind you. You'd never even look at them. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see you. I want to interact with you. I want to joke with you. I want to know who you are as a person because I want to be in relationship with you. So I'm on the journey with you.
Yeah.
And I want to be, in a way, that parental figure, if you will, without having a power dynamic, a parental figure who simply knows things. Take what you have, some things here. You want them? Don't. That's okay too. I'm here to guide you. I can't do that if I don't attune. I don't know you. So humor is one of those things.
I think anybody listening right now is feeling very refreshed to hear that part.
Yeah.
Because there's a taboo, a stigma about therapy that it has to be this stoic individual who sits still, writes on a pad, who went to college, who's only going to ask, what does that mean for you? How does that make you feel? Like, there's so much more to it. There's, to quote Charles Darwin, there's beauty in this way of life. There's so much to it. When I heard you say that and read it on your website, I was like, that is just beautiful. What a great way to break into a conversation, to break into the gridlock, right? Again, let's break into that with humor.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
This is so refreshing.
Awesome.
I have a couple of questions I want to ask you to
Yes.
pivot back to you for a moment. You see, this is my chance to really ask you anything I want to ask you, right? And one of the things that I want to talk about with you is that earlier this year, the fires happened in Los Angeles,
Yeah.
in the Palisades and in Altadena. I found out that you had lost your home. And personally, I was like, oh my God, my therapist. Like, this was one of those things where I don't know if I understood the bond that we had built so deeply when I was like, I knew a lot of people who lost their homes. And when I found out it was you, I wept. I would love for you to share with us a little bit about what that was like as a huge breaking moment.
Really highly don't recommend anybody go through this. I give
0 stars.
I was just about to say, I give
Oh,
us
damn,
a
I took your
terrible
joke.
Yelp
I'm
review.
sorry.
2025 is
I
the
took
worst
your-
year ever. You know, it's so fraught, this. We lived in this home for 20 years. My children were born in this home. In this home. We used to, makes me emotional. We used to stand in the kitchen where the kids were born, and we said, you were born here, right here. You don't understand the amount of things you have in your home until it's taken from you. And I say taken, like robbed from you is what it feels like. And there's this part of me that's like 10,000 people, well, 10,000 in Altadena and the Palisades, which I'll be honest, it's hard for me to even look at the Palisades just because I can't even focus on my own community. Yeah. All of these people who went through this also. So there's this part of me, it's like, oh, does that thing that people do? Mm-hmm. It's not so bad. At least you got away. At least you got, So I grapple sometimes in sharing this information because, yes, we all evacuated. Not to say that we got an evacuation notice. We were on the side of town. For those who might not know, people, I have to do that, never eat soggy worms, that never eat, people east of Lake Avenue in Altadena got an evacuation notice at 6:30 p.m. And the people west of Lake Avenue never got one. And so we were essentially monitoring it ourselves at like around 9 or 10 o'clock. Our home was, I never know, how do I say it? My home was where my home it will be. The lot that is currently there is on a dead end street about 9:30 at night. One of the wind was so awful. I'm sure everybody in LA remembers it was, and it carried this energy that just, we all knew it was destructive, felt wrong somehow. 9:30 at night, a tree fell down on our street, effectively cutting off the back half of the street. We couldn't drive cars. The entire neighborhood came out and started cutting down this tree and brought out all of their saws and in this wind, and we were trying to shield each other, and then the power went out. And people who had gas-powered, anything, finally we cut the tree out so people could drive if they needed to. My youngest was the only one that was home. My other two, my middle child is at UCLA, so she was on campus. And my oldest had just happened to take a trip to New York. He left the airport the night of the fires, which I can't even imagine what that looked like from the air.
Truly.
Yeah. He had no idea until he got to New York what had happened to his childhood home. My youngest started having panic attack after panic attack. He has a great deal of anxiety. He's also on the spectrum, super high functioning. My oldest is also on the spectrum, as my husband is on the spectrum. For the record, out of 5 people, if 3 of them are neurodiverse, is it really diverse? Is it possible this
talking.
is the norm? Just saying.
Now we're talking.
So he has a lot of anxiety, and he kept saying, "We're gonna have to evacuate. We're gonna have to evacuate." We said, "We don't know. It looks like we're gonna be fine. The fire looks far away." So my husband would, after the power went out, because we got no reception up in Altadena, he would scout. He drove the car every hour until 2 o'clock in the morning, and he was listening to an AM radio to see if there was any call for police, because maybe you've heard the stories. There was nobody out, no policemen, no firemen, nobody. It's like we were just left to fend for ourselves. And at about 2:00 in the morning, my husband comes in and he pulls me into the kitchen. He said, look, and you could see the flames licking what looked to be the end of our street. Oh. And so I said, we have to go. And my youngest was freaking out. If you've ever been with a child who has a panic attack, it's very crippling. The only thing he grabbed, bless him, was all of his journals. He had 6 journals. It was the only thing that he grabbed in a blanket. And I had just happened to, I said, if we had to go, what would I grab? I always thought my jewelry, it's signature for me. My jewelry is signature. I love wearing pretty things. So I just grabbed some jewelry and a sweater. To this day, why that sweater? I think because it was cashmere. I'm pretty sure because it was cashmere. I grabbed it. And my husband happened to, I said, aren't we supposed to grab our passports? And he said, probably a good idea. And he went down to his studio, which, by the way, he worked from our home. So his entire studio, over 20 years works in the entertainment industry and sound and music. He's a music editor, an Emmy award-winning music editor. He went down to his studio and he was working on a show at the time. He said, I should take my drives just in case we have to evacuate. And it has over 20 years of all of the music that he had ever gotten from libraries, from other places that he used constantly when he temps a show or a movie or whatever. He just happened to grab all of his drives, and we evacuated to my office in Pasadena and had no word. We knew nothing. Oh, we had 3 dogs. And by dogs, I mean small horses. We have giant dogs. Our biggest, his name is Bob. He's a Mastiff. He's 160 pounds. Wow. And then our Shepherd is 130 pounds. And we have a little 60-pound boxer. And we all crammed in my teeny tiny little office and waited. And we were actually texting with my daughter, who was on campus at UCLA, if she saw that there was an evacuation notice. But she was getting notices from the Palisades fire because they were going to evacuate UCLA at that time. My husband tried to drive up there about 6:00 in the morning, the next morning. And he said he'll never be able to wipe that image from his mind. He said it was like everything you see in the movies, the war zone. There were fires everywhere. And you could barely see. The smoke was so thick. He saw no emergency vehicles. He saw 2. He did see 2, which he thinks they were trying to get somebody out of the house. But he couldn't get up to our street. We live very close to the foothills, really close to the mountains. About 10:00 the next day is when our neighbor called, and she said, I'm so sorry, it's gone. And our world fell apart. Only it's like this slow burn, which I think is what trauma does. When something traumatic happens, you don't realize it's happening. You don't realize how it's sinking into the fiber of your being. It's like a tattoo. It's always there in some capacity, but it forms over time and comes out in the weirdest fucking way. I have a book in my office that says trauma is weird. And it really is. These little things you don't expect to. My husband put wind chimes over, we're in a rental house now, put wind chimes over our air conditioning unit. So when it goes, the wind chimes chime. And every time it chimes, I think there's winds, and I have a somatic response. Weird things like that. I mean, not so weird, just to my everyday existence. Mm-hmm. So we, we had to hop from place to place, eventually found a rental, which I'm so grateful for. She gave us a 2-year lease on this house, which is very, very small. Everybody's shoehorned into little houses. My oldest son, moved out because there just wasn't enough space. It sort of fast forwarded his leaving the nest. So, to which I say, silver lining. Yeah. I keep looking for those little silver linings. I love collecting them. All through COVID, I kept collecting little silver linings. What's the good that's coming out of this? It feels terrible right now. So he moved out. Our youngest is still with us, and our middle is still on campus. And my husband no longer has a studio. He lost over 1,500 hugely cultivated records. He had a vinyl collection that he had cultivated. He had thousands of CDs since, the 90s that he had collected. The list goes on and on. Irreplaceable things, paintings, one-of-a-kind paintings, all the stuff. Yeah. now we live in this weird purgatory. Like, so what now? We know we want to rebuild. We do want to rebuild. We feel strongly. And our neighborhood is gone.
Yeah.
It will never be the same. And that was traditionally a Black neighborhood where there was so much diversity in that neighborhood. It was eclectic. It was unique. I don't know if you remember, everybody wanted to move to Altadena before the fires. Yeah.
I love Altadena.
Yes. It was walkable to the park. We moved there because there were parks that you could walk to, the trails that you could walk to, which by the way are all closed. You can't, for like next 2 years, you can't hike there anymore. So that's sort of the story of it. I mean, I know I smile at times when I say it, which I know is a part of me that's like, I don't know what to do with this piece of information. I keep saying, I think that when we rebuild, I'll fall apart once we go into this new home.
Oh my gosh.
You know, like I have to get through all of these
hurdles.
hurdles.
Isn't like a psychological name for that or something?
I had delayed gratification.
It's gotta be. It's such a common thing.
I mean, yeah, it is,
Yeah.
right? It is.
You hold on and then afterward.
Here's the thing though, I am such a glass half full kind of gal. I always have been. It's not my first brush with trauma to name it. I mean, I kind of been through shit, I will say.
Yeah.
I had an accident when I was 15 and my scalp was ripped off and I had a year of reconstructive surgery while I was going through high school, which was awful. And by the way, kids in high school are assholes. It was really terrible to be disfigured in the way that I was and all of that. So I think there's sort of parts of me that know also, having been through something that was really hard, breaking, if you will, that there is always this other side out of it. I think that accident at 15, there was such a sense of purpose. Why did I live? How did I live? This board that tore my scalp off in a car, it was a car accident, and it went through the car, it got tangled in my hair, it hit my skull going 50 miles an hour and ripped my scalp off and then embedded itself in the engine of the car. That's how fast it was going.
Wow.
Why did I live? And starting at 15 began this journey for me of, it felt almost spiritual. Like, okay, I'm here for a reason. That board, had it have been a millimeter over, that would have been it. So I think there's this, I don't know, maybe call it resilience. It feels spiritual. I'm going to hold it as spiritual. I'm just going to hold that and part that like feels there's something to this. There's something to be grown. This can become fertile ground. It's called post-traumatic growth, by the way.
Oh, wow.
This term that's now being coined. Have you heard that before?
No, I'm writing that down. That's right up my alley. It's got both sides, the yin and the yang, trauma and growth.
Exactly. Post-traumatic growth. And I feel that heavily. I think my Achilles heel in it is to honor the trauma.
Yeah.
And I see people that have experienced it that are in the trauma and can't get out. And I don't want that extreme necessarily. Not that anything's wrong with that. Everybody's got their own process. And I don't want to just be like, but it's fine. I'm okay. I don't want to be that either. And I didn't mean to judge it. That's a part of me that judge that people say that. And I get why they do. I get that's a protector, right? That's I can't look at it right now. I'm just going to say it's okay.
Yeah.
I would love to find the middle ground inside of it to honor all of it. That feels to be my journey right now. How do I really embrace it without diminishing it or without getting stuck in it?
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
That is, I don't think there's any words actually for that sort of stuff. I don't think there's any words for it. And kudos to you for being so strong with it. And not in the sense of you can handle it, in the sense of facing every single aspect of what you're feeling.
Thanks.
And then still moving forward and what needs to be done, what's best for you and your family. That's the real strength.
It reminds me of what you said when somebody doesn't have the birth that they want. To hold both the like, yes, I'm safe and my family's safe and there's some silver linings about the empty nest part and all of that. And also this was really fucking shitty that this happened to my family, to me personally, to every single one of my neighbors, to the entire community. I think that's what's so shook about the whole thing is that You couldn't lean on your neighbors to recover. Everybody was recovering. And the entire collective of the entire city of Altadena, minus maybe one or two, like literally everything was gone.
Yeah.
And that means memories, and that means the restaurants you went to, and that means the stores you shopped at, and that means the businesses that were owned by the people. It's only been, at the time of this recording, 6 months. Yeah. It feels like forever ago to me. What you're doing is you're holding both of those things at the same time. And this third thing of, I know I'm in purgatory, and I know there's another part of this story that hasn't been told, which is the rebuilding and then the going and living in that space again thing. Not knowing
in a totally different neighborhood.
In a different neighborhood, not knowing how much of it's going to even be a neighborhood at that point.
Right.
What will that feel like? Yeah. And you're holding that at the same time.
Yeah.
And that holding pattern that you're having right now with an inevitable change, but you don't know when that change will happen. For me personally, that would make me frustrated, make me angry. And then I think about the people that you talked about, your neighbors who didn't have the glass half full mentality. I'm sure anger washes up to your shore. How do you manage that in all of this?
I don't have a lot of anger in me. Anger implies, for me anyway, fault in which, to name it, there's a whole lawsuit, that's going on right now. And I think I've seen also so many people be angry, want to blame. I think there is fault to be had. I have a hard time knowing what to be angry at. Angry at the winds. I'm angry at Southern SoCal Edison. I'm angry, and at the same time, I don't. My husband feels it. I'll just speak. He represents the anger. He gets very, very angry. We have this thing where he'll take on traits that I don't necessarily want, and I take on traits he doesn't necessarily have per se. And there is that sense we work in partnership. He carries a lot of the anger in that way. I don't. I feel angry that we have to account for everything if there's anything to be angry at. This grueling process of insurance is gut-wrenching. I find myself not wanting to do it. You have to go through everything you've lost. When you've lived in a home for 20 years, that's a lot of stuff. And that's stuff that you can't put a price on. There was a Christmas village that my husband's mom gave us that she had collected since the 80s, that some of them are discontinued. You don't get that. And whatever, it's a Christmas village. I get that. Only it carried meaning because it was handed down from the family. And things that my grandfather made. He made this statue that was made from shells. Is it worth anything? No. And this was my grandfather's that he made from shells he found on a beach in Daytona Beach, actually. Having to represent that and then fight for it. No, it really is worth something. That is the closest I come to feeling angry. I have to justify my life.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great last line. I have to justify my life too.
Yeah.
An institution, by the way, that's supposed to be helpful and easier and supposed to vehicle you from A to B. I also felt some of that, listening to you tell that story, I felt some of that when you said you were on the block and there were no first responders, no cops. I would feel similar feeling about dealing with the insurance company. These are institutions that are made to help us, and they didn't fulfill their side.
Yeah.
And I would be angry for that, personally.
Yeah.
You not feeling that anger in the capacity in which I was asking, or that I see most people feel, is that something that you learned? Or is that something that you were born with?
I think that's a lovely question. I appreciate that curiosity, actually. Learned.
Okay.
I used to have horrible anger.
Damn right.
Like the kind where you see red and you don't remember what you did anger.
Yep.
Really bad anger. And that was almost 30 years ago when I realized it. That was actually what got me into Buddhism. I practiced for quite some time and everything that I could to be in relationship with it. So I would say that's a skill. And I don't find it savory in my system anymore. I do feel it on the freeways of LA from time to time.
It is the most challenging. It is the ultimate test to my Buddhism.
Truly is.
Being on the highway. It is the ultimate test. I can tell how much I've been meditating that week, depending upon, or how much Buddhism I've read, depending upon how I respond to people on the 101.
100%
or the
feel you.
405. Yep.
Totally feel you.
Oh, absolutely.
It's worse.
Dude.
I could talk to you literally for hours, which we have been. But I want to wrap up today, and I want you to share with the person listening how someone could find you if they did want to work with you, but also tell us a little bit about what you're working on and how people can connect with you regarding that project.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. So you can find me at my website, jjbrake.com. B-R-A-K-E, not to be confused with break, B-R-E-A-K, which we joke about the fact that we should have named our children things like emergency or summer or only it's spelled differently. Anyway, jjbrake, B-R-A-K-E.com is
And that will
my
be-
website. That you can find everything there, how to contact me through there.
And that will be linked in the show notes as well.
Great. Yes, if you wanted to work with me and not really work with me, I'm developing an app right now with a programmer. It's called unblend.me. It's very new, so we're still working out some of the kinks. It's a lovely way of unblending these parts that we talked about. It's designed to help you notice what's there, and then the ability to say, okay, can you take a moment to notice it and see if you can just separate a little bit from it? It's a very gentle, it's not meant to replace therapy. It's meant to be a quick access that you feeling hijacked by an emotion or a feeling or a sensation. You can tap into this app. You can talk to it. You might notice the voice. If you use the voice feature, you can speak to it. It can speak back to you, so you can close your eyes if that's helpful. That's already available right now. You can try it this afternoon if you wanted to.
Oh my goodness.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That sounds
Say-
incredible. What an amazing tool to have. Like I can literally have you in my pocket and talk to me.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's unblend, right? UNBLEND.me.
That's correct.
Fantastic.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. JJ, thank you so much. Thank you from
Thank you.
the ends of the earth for being here with us and sharing so much of your wisdom and your life, and you're just a gift to this world. So, and to me in particular. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thanks, you guys. It was really lovely. Really appreciate you both.
Everybody, as usual, please be kind to yourself.
If this episode spoke to you, take a moment and send it to someone else who might need it. That's the best way to spread these conversations to the people who need them the most. And if you want to keep exploring with us, make sure to follow Beauty in the Break wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you next time.
Beauty in the Break is created and hosted by Foster Wilson and Cesar Cardona. Our executive producer is Glenn Milley. Original music by Caesar and the Clue.